Hi everybody, I'm Tandy Gutierrez and this is another mini vid tutorial for you. So these mini vids are to help you work into a exercise or variation a little bit easier, right? I have clients for the last 16 years like, I can't do that. Yes, you can. You just need a variation that works for your body, right? So if you're a subscriber and you train with me at mountaintokitchen.com or over at the unicornwellnessproject.com, these little mini vids are kind of like the extra homework of if the variation that I'm teaching in that workout doesn't work for you, you can sub out with any one of these anytime. The goal is to meet yourself on the mat. It's as if you're in a mixed level class and start to really own your own self-practice and know when you need a variation to sub in and out. And I'm always on social media and in email, but this Pigeon tutorial is really to go, okay, I'm gonna look at all these variations and the next time I get tripped up in a workout, I'm gonna try one of them so that I don't have to skip it or I don't have to feel, not empowered by the workout, right? Okay, so Pigeon is a hip opener and that can look like so many different things on different bodies. So here we go. The first variation we're gonna start off with is a chair because sometimes getting down to the floor is challenging as it is. So if the hips are really tight and getting down to the floor is challenging, you can use a chair. The hands are going to go to it, and then you're going to take one foot forward and aim to get the shin on there, right? But again, if it won't open up, it doesn't have to go all the way down. You just go as far as you can. You want to make sure that it's a supported something or other. It could be the edge of a couch. It could be an ottoman, as long as it's stable. And then you can work that leg back. Same rules apply for alignment. Squeeze down in the armpit, get the shoulders away from your ears. Lift the abdominals up underneath the rib cage and hold them there nice and tight so it's supported in your back. And you can stay here, right? And again, it doesn't have to be super low. As long as you're working in a supported space and allowing that hip to open up, then you can lower that other side and get the hip stretch on the opposite side, okay? From here. If you just have trouble getting to the floor, use the chair as a support on your way down, okay? So from here, you can go to a kneeling position and then work that front leg into that open posture, right? And this may be enough also. Maybe you lean on the chair, okay? Maybe you start to walk that other leg back. And maybe you can open everything up on the floor. You just needed support on the way down, okay? So from here, if you get down to the floor, or you're like, Tandy, I can get to the mat, and you get down to the mat, but the booty cheek is way off the floor and it's just awkward. It's like you're hovering in midair. You can use yoga blocks and I'll show you that variation. But if you have a bolster or a blanket or a little coverlet that you just roll up or a small pillow, you give it some space and some relaxation. So it's always about filling the space, and it's a really funny thing with the body that if you give it a cushy pillow, it'll relax, right? And so what you're trying to do in Pigeon is to get the hip to relax and open up to gain more mobility, okay? So you can use the blanket, you can have the chair in front of you. If you can go a little bit lower, you could use the blocks as support in front, right? If you don't have a blanket, or blanket's too big, it's too much propping, little block underneath the tush. Okay? And then that puts you in that more upright position. You can use the block for support. So if there's a variation of Pigeon where you're in extension, then you can use that block, okay? If you can lower all the way down, you could still use the block at the forehead. Sometimes that's nice because sometimes coming all the way down is too far, okay? So as we come out of the block supported one, you can come to all fours. So from all fours, you can take one leg forward in that turned out position, and you're here. So again, it's the same as the chair, it's having the support in front, but you go from all fours, and you just go as far as you can, right? Again, if you want to fill the space with the block, you could, or you just stay supported in the arms, squeezing down in the armpit, give a little squeeze at the armpit, and bend at the elbow so it's supported. Inhaling to scoop that belly button up underneath the rib cage. Exhale to hold it there high and tight. And then let gravity do its business over time, right? Okay? So you can come from that all fours position. So Blocks, all fours, blanket and block, chair and blanket, chair and the floor, okay? Or you can head towards a figure 4 position. So full pigeon looks like that one leg in front, the other leg in back, right? Sometimes it's an extension, sometimes we go forward. With me, sometimes you tuck the toes and you go for active pigeon and try to engage that back hamstring and the glutes and release. If all of those are a little too fancy, too over the top, or just seem like too much, another variation is figure 4. So you can start laying on your back. That's the basic. Opposite ankle over the opposite knee, and it just opens in that figure 4 position, okay? If you don't feel a whole lot of stretch, don't feel anything in the hip, you can hug that other leg in towards your chest. For me, you want to make sure that if you're in this figure 4 variation, that the focus is not on how close that leg can get to you, that you kind of create traction and length by pushing meaty part of the palm at the crease of the knee to open up through this side. Then, if it's in your body, you can extend that leg or bring it close to you, okay? So, there are more variations of figure 4. You could do figure 4 from a seated position. The rules of a seated position figure 4 is that the back has to be long and tall if you're gonna do it here. If it gets stuck here, go to the floor, okay? So if you can get the spine nice and long, leg is out long, opposite ankle over the opposite knee. If that isn't enough stretch, you're like, hey, that's cool, I could go further. Flat back forward, okay? And back up. If you can keep the spine long and tall, then you can start to challenge your body by bending this knee, and then starting to scoot, walk, or help assist that other leg in, okay? So then it becomes that really close figure 4, but the spine's gotta be long and tall. The minute it starts to drop down into the low back, no good, okay? So these are all of your variations of pigeon. So there's always a choice. So if you're working out with me or if you're working out with someone else, I hope you're not, but you know, you may be, use these variations to help open up your practice, because props and variations on the exercise or the posture or the pose doesn't mean I can't do it so that it got dumbed down for me. You're supporting your body where it's at. You're allowing it to get the opening that we're trying to achieve from the exercise with the variation that works for your body, heading off any injuries in the process, because the goal is never to push, force, smash, or move quickly into a pose or posture and exercise your body's not ready for yet, or that your body's just not built for at all. Whole nother video, whole nother topic. But hopefully this pigeon tutorial really helps support your practice as it is right now. So if you're working out with me, at any time you can sub any of these in when I'm teaching pigeon if the variation I'm teaching that time doesn't work for your body. So thank you. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments, like, share, subscribe, and if you haven't become a member yet at either one of my sites, just head over to tandygutierrez.com and it'll tell you about everything that I do there.